All right. All right, go ahead.
So I was just brainstorming an idea earlier with Mason a little bit of
oh yeah, he's having a wonderful idea.
having a wonderful idea. He loves it. He hates it. He hates it. The regular Space Marine Codex actually got kind of a buff when 6th edition came out, and in a couple ways that like usually that you didn't think about, maybe you didn't think about before. So there's a character in there, Shrike, and Shrike gives the whole army, everyone who has combat tactics, which is any infantry miniature basically in the army, fleet. And they changed fleet in 6th edition from during your run roll to
You can. It used to be you could fleet and then charge. You
right,
could run
the
and then
was,
charge.
Right. And now it re-roll your charge.
I like that a
distance.
lot better personally, by
Well, if you do the math, it's about 1.5 inches
the way. Less this way, right?
less that way. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's not. I mean, you lose out some, but on the other hand, this
You know what?
changes something.
Would it be okay if I did the math on this?
Yeah.
So it used to be you could go 1d6 inches, so an average of 3.5 inches,
Yep.
plus 6 inches for the charge, because it was
Yes.
fixed at 6, so 9.5. Now you get 2d6, which is an average roll of 7, so it's a 7-inch charge, but you can re-roll if you miss it.
Right. Either die.
So
You get to decide. Like let's
That's
say
true.
You roll a 1.
So it's hard
you
to
roll a
say
1,
exactly
you
what
roll
it
a 1
is.
and 6. You keep the 6. You re-roll the 1.
but it's probably not as high as 9.5.
No, it's
It doesn't
probably
increase at 2.5 inches
Yeah.
on average. Okay, go
not.
ahead.
No, yeah. Well, but the minimum was different. Like, and if you circumstances, but on average, you're correct.
Yeah.
The thing that I was thinking about though is two things. One, in both in 5th edition and 6th edition, you can't run with bikes, but in 6th edition, now that fleet's changed, it makes it much more useful to bring Shrike with a bike army because your bikes can now re-roll their charge distance.
Yeah.
Just all right. So as we were saying, bikes can re-roll the charge distance. So it's basically will make them into cavalry, which is pretty cool. Unless I'm thinking my rules wrong, cavalry get fleet no matter what, but I'm almost positive bikes don't. So this would make your bikes into cavalry effectively. Both of them ignore terrain. Terrain just counts as dangerous terrain for them.
Which dangerous terrain's not a big deal in this edition at all.
No, it's not.
Not at all. Because if you roll a 1, you have to roll an armor save. I'm a Marine with a 3-up save. What to do?
Yep. Bikes and jet bikes have Hammer of Wrath, Jink, and Relentless, but not fleet. So it would make your bikes into fleet bikes, which is cool. Also, another unit that was kind of suffered from the same kind of problem in 5th edition was the Veteran Vanguard with the Heroic Intervention. I mean, you already had the problem of it's a 5 men at 20 points a model.
Oh, so they get fleet too?
Yeah, they would get fleet too.
Ooh, okay, I see how they're good then.
Right.
All right.
Because before fleet, but it says specifically under Heroic Intervention, you cannot choose to shoot or run.
Yeah.
If you're going to try the Heroic Intervention. So you couldn't bring Shrike and be like, oh, my guys will drop fleet and then charge.
Mm.
But now they could drop and re-roll their charge distance.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. So they got a buff, and especially considering that they're 30 points a model to bring them that way before you put special weapons on them. That's kind of something you need to be able to do.
But you can kit that squad out with like whatever crap you want, though.
Oh yeah, they can kit. You could go super expensive with them. I think I mathed it out, and it's something like a 700-point unit for 10 of them if you wanted to go that high. Because you could give every one of them a storm shield and every one of them a thunder hammer.
Every one of what?
The
Veteran Vanguard. We were talking about how Veteran Vanguard got a buff.
So
And for the viewers, I actually stepped out.
we just
for a
walked
few-
back over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so his idea with the fleet thing is use Heroic Intervention on the Vanguard, and you get to reroll their charge distance if they fail it. Whereas before, they couldn't use fleet at all.
Right.
So
This
that's
is, of course, always all with the caveat that you're bringing Shrike.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
So Shrike,
Shrike.
you
Shrike
get the Vanguard
in some ways
guys.
got more powerful with
So
different characters.
they arrive
right.
and can charge this insane amount.
They're the only unit in
Yep.
the game that can do that, actually, right?
Yeah, because
There's
Lesser
something
Demons.
They can
Lesser
charge
Demons
right
got
out of
taken
Deep Strike.
Yep.
You've got Imgarls, who are also fleet, by the way, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Imgarl Gene Stealers can
Gene
charge
Stealers,
the
I
turn
didn't
they
know.
show up. They don't deep strike technically. They just come out of area terrain, which is weird. What happens if I take those and I show up at a tournament and there's no area terrain on the board?
You're in a tight spot.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'd have to deploy them.
you have to deploy them, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Gene
thought
Stealers
Gene Stealers
deploy
would be
Gene
good,
Stealers
but they're
is
just
me.
not. Oh yeah, it's terrible. It's because of their low armor.
I still complain
Basically, it.
that they took the one really fun orc unit, which is the commandos, and made them totally worthless to ever take.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't assault. You can come in and use your 2 flamers that you can put in the squad, and then it's like, what are they going to do after that? Because
Right.
normally they're for going back and holding up
Yeah,
like
you
a
can't-
Devastator squad or something like
Right.
that. And, they're in combat now, and they can't shoot that.
Well, you could take a war boss on bike before,
Mm.
and he could go with the unit and get to come in from the rear edge of the board and charge the first time
Alright.
he came on.
Yeah.
But now he's
So,
now they can't charge.
what are other interesting ideas and dirty tricks?
He was talking about one that I really don't like.
We're going
Oh,
for
right.
low sportsmanship here.
I don't gun for low sports. I gun for competitiveness. One of the most underplayed units in the Space Marine Codex, which is what we were kind of brainstorming about earlier today, is the Thunderfire Cannon. And it got only better in this edition. you get an artillery piece that is toughness 7, has 2 wounds, 3 up armor save now, and it's 100 points for that and a guy. It's a heavy 4 weapon with 3 different shots, 60-inch range. It's like the longest range thing in the Space Marine Codex outside of bringing the conversion beamer on the
Yeah. It's
character.
48
way.
inches.
Oh, your army relies on
is-
cover
his
saves?
is
Nope.
72.
Right, but I'm saying other than 60 inches, the next one up is a las
48.
cannon.
Yeah, it's great. It's really nice. It's long ranged. It can take out light vehicles. It got better about taking out light vehicles because if you have your vehicles close together, it could hit 2 of them with a strength 6 shot.
Right.
It's
Now,
Yeah.
I was noted because I did a
Great
how-to
infantry
on
killer.
barrage weapons, and I noticed if you roll a hit on your second in a multiple barrage, you get to place it however you want. And to me, that seemed like an opening for sniping people because
Yeah.
the casualties are taken from the hole. You just put the hole on the exact guy you want,
that you want, yeah.
and so that was a little weird to me, but definitely
Well,
a tactic
you
you
place
could
your
use.
first one, your first barrage. If you had a single barrage, you place it on that guy.
So you were talking about Space Marines.
Yes.
So Space Marine Codex still good or obsolete
good.
now that Dark Angels are out?
No, Dark Angels. No, there's options in the Space Marine Codex that Dark Angels don't have. They have the Thunderfire Cannon. That's the number one thing off the top of my head that I'm just like, bam, awesome. They have Stern Guard. Dark Angels don't get Stern Guard. They have all the different chapter tactics for the different characters. Those are all really good still. Vulcan, still worth bringing. We just talked about how good Shrike is. Pedro Cantor. I wouldn't bring Pedro Cantor.
What does he do?
He gives
Like a bolter drill or something?
no, that's Lysander.
Oh.
Both Lysander and Pedro Cantor give basically Grim Resolve. What's it called? Stubborn. They give stubborn.
Okay,
So it's not that great.
right.
But those 2 characters you bring as a secondary HQ for one of the other guys. You bring Vulcan as your main HQ or as your warlord. It doesn't even have to be your warlord. That's an extra 6th edition thing. But as the guy that's using that chapter tactics, and then you bring Lysander as a great close combat beast because the guy can take endless amounts of hits. Or you take Pedro Cantor for the fact that he's a chapter master, so you can get an honor guard, they're okay. You can get an honor guard, and you get a free orbital bombardment, and you get a 12-inch bubble of +1 attack. That's great.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good.
That's like a no-brainer. It's like, well, bring him always because it's just
Which guy is that again?
Pedro Cantor.
All right.
He's 175 points. He's not.
So
he's got
you're
power
making a
fist, he's not
Space
great-
Marine list. You want it to be all around, fun to play, competitive, can meet a variety of tactical situations. You've got 2,000 points. Go.
Do you
Start
want
with
shooting?
troops.
Do you want it shooting, or do you want it close combat?
I have to pick. You can't do half and half.
You're gonna have elements, but you want to run
Okay,
the list.
let's do close combat.
Close combat. Run Shrike. Shrike will make all your guys fleet. That will make you want to go for it and
Okay.
make close
So
combat.
what do I take in troops?
In
then?
troops, 2 different options. Either we go with the option A, which is you bring Shrike and you bring a captain on a bike, and the captain on the bike gives you gives all of your guys, all of your bikes are troops.
Scoring.
So then you bring bikes.
Okay.
And your bikes, they have relentless. They'll be able to shoot bolters. They'll have their special weapons in the squad, and you'll be able to charge along. They're basically they're cavalry. You turn them into cavalry with strike because they ignore terrain. They move fast, and they have a fleet.
Okay.
But
it just makes them scoring, not troops choices.
No, but you don't. In that case, you make them.
Which is fine because now you can have 9.
No, you can take them as troops.
Units.
You can take them as troops.
Okay.
So yeah, you just bring those. You don't. In that, if you did that, you don't bring tactical marines at all.
All right.
The option 2 is you go with tactical squads, and you bring, or it's 2 options. You can go tactical squads, and you'll drop pod them for getting objectives and just a punching shot. You know, when they come down, they're gonna have bolter shots, and they're gonna shoot a lot.
Well, you just want to do Sternguard in that anyways, don't you?
Right. You know, either way, you're gonna do Sternguard, but Sternguard, unless you bring Pedro Cantor, Sternguard aren't scoring. I'm talking about just strike.
So hold on. Pedro Cantor makes Sternguard into troops or makes them into scoring units? Okay.
Scoring versus taking a captain on bike makes
So they're still in
makes
elites.
bikes troops. Yes.
Right. And then a couple of Thunderfire cannons.
Always Thunderfire cannons.
Because I remember playing
Max
a game
Thunderfire
against you
cannons.
where you had 2 of those, and I just
Hate them. Yes.
I just couldn't get to them.
Yeah.
I bring 3. Any list I start to build with the primary detachment is Space Marines. The first thing I put on the list is 3 Thunderfire cannons. So my lists start out with like 2,000 points. They start out with 1,700 points because I bring 3 of them. If I'm playing a 2,500 point tournament, I would consider bringing 6 of them.
Whoa, no.
I'd cry. I'd just be like, well.
Okay, then I'm going to lay down a challenge to you.
Okay.
To play me a game of 2,500 points.
You want to play against that?
Where you're gonna proxy in 6 Thunderfire cannons.
I own 3 of them, so I'll have to just come up with the base models for 3
You could.
more.
There's conversions that you can do that are pretty good out of plastics.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
ready. I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Challenge-
Hold on.
challenge accepted.
You know, I have to couch this properly. Okay, Thomas, I think your Thunderfire cannons are weak. I don't think they're nearly as good as you think they are. Yeah. You're going to find out that your Thunderfire cannons are pretty pathetic
I hope you bring.
against the might of my Tyranids.
I hope you bring. Tyranids. You can't even bring vehicles then. I hope you bring all monstrous creatures. We'll have to bring all monstrous creatures because I'm gonna kill your swarms in droves, dude.
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry. I think it's
You're gonna take the
unrealistic.
The fastest termagants can poop them out and be like, up they're dead, up they're dead.
He's
up
gonna
they're dead.
take and he's gonna be like, all right, tape measure. Every one of them's exactly almost 2 inches apart.
You have to.
The multiple
Yeah.
And he's still gonna go, Thunderfire Cannon, that's 27 hits.
Yeah.
Dude, I've done that before. I think the worst I ever did
There
was
you go.
like 30 hits with 1 Thunderfire.
And and I question your parentage. There you go.
Well, I was a bathroom floor baby, but my parents were
Ooh,
married.
nice.
They were
That's
married.
awesome. They were married. Fantastic. That's great.
All
I
right,
remember
bring it on, man.
Tammy giving birth to her last child. You like where this is going? She was howling. She was like, "Arr!" I'm like, she's gonna turn. Get the silver bullets.
I bet she would love that.
You were saying that. Oh, man.
My tradition is to say one inappropriate thing per childbirth.
Do
Yep.
you remember them all?
Yeah, actually. I can only tell you one of the other ones.
Other ones aren't camera appropriate.
No, they're not camera appropriate. It was anybody hungry for beef stew all of a sudden.
That's pretty bad.
Wow, dude.
Terrible.
All right, sorry. I got off topic here,
That
guys.
makes me a little sick,
I
actually.
got a little off topic.
Wow.
All right, guys. So, all right, what else then? So that's your Space Marine list right there. That sounds so aggressive. I mean, you've got Tac Marines and drop pods. You get. You make your bikes scoring units.
Yep.
And it's just fast and punchy.
Punchy. Yeah.
Very punchy.
If
Stern
I
guard
were-
and a drop pod.
The third option to run your troops is bring scouts, close combat scouts, and infiltrate them.
Okay.
What?
What does infiltrate do in this
Infiltrate
edition?
allows you to deploy up to 18 inches out from them.
Okay.
And then scouts get a scout move. So I would move
So,
and then
but you can't charge the
I
first turn.
can't charge
if
the
you use
first
the
turn.
thing. So you set it up
Right.
to get in there. Does
Right.
that really work? This doesn't sound like
That doesn't sound that good to me.
such
either.
a great,
That's what I was
because
thinking.
scouts are not that hot.
Yeah.
They're not, but they're cheap. So I get cheap troop choices that are okay in close combat. I mean, they're still Space Marines. They just have a lower ballistic.
The thing that would be good about it, I can see, is that they'd be up there and it'd be a problem for them to deal with. So
Right.
they'd have to.
Yeah,
they
so
should
you
have that.
include, you don't make a scout army
No, you don't. You
and
just
be
use
like,
these
I'm
troop
going to
choices.
overwhelm you with scouts.
Right. You're talking. I
I've
have,
seen
I have
people
the
do that.
Thunder.
All fear the mighty Space Marine scouts.
I would
Hey,
still
Josh.
run. I'd still run Thunderfire cannons in that list. And Shrike allows one unit to infiltrate with him, and that the no-brainer play any time for that is bringing a 10-man Thunderhammer unit. You just bring a Thunderhammer
Infiltrated.
Terminators?
Yes, 10 Terminators infiltrated.
You don't care if they're getting shot at. Who
Yeah, you
cares?
don't.
They shrug it off and then they're in.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then it becomes a situation of, and then you bring drop pods as well. So that, I mean, ideally, first turn, what you're doing to them is you're dropping some drop pods, half a round up of your drop pods. Your scouts are really close. Your Terminators are really close. Everything is right there, and he has to decide. He has like one turn to decide what is my target. What am I going to shoot at? And if, I mean, and that would work the same way if you did it that way. And your drop pods you bring, I might bring an Ironclad just because they're 13 armor front, and people don't really want to mess with them. They're kind of cheap. On the other hand, and they don't take up. They do take up the elite
Isn't
slot.
an ironclad like 130 points?
Yeah, they're cheaper.
Sternguard, I'd take Sternguard.
Yeah, probably just. I don't know. It depends. People
so good.
see that dreadnought and they get afraid of it.
Yeah.
And it can't be a front
It's a
armor
cool
13
model too.
Yeah, a front armor 13 dreadnought can't be hurt by most infantry because they don't have.
You
They
hit
don't
him with a
have
power
units.
fist.
Right. So you're talking about like one power fist in the squad.
We can either start Deathwing
Right.
or we can go into the that stuff.
Can we finish
If
this?
you don't bring that, then you bring the Sternguard, which
Okay.
Sternguard drop, and they have the multiple
Now-
weapons. They have combi weapons. They can bring heavy flamers.
Let's talk about the Demon's Codex.
Yes, we don't have
So,
it yet because Shawn hasn't
The
bought
the
it.
owner of the company is worthless. Oh, what a terrible thing to say!
Man,
Oh my gosh!
That's a lot harsh.
I just made myself feel bad.
We're gonna have to write you
Why
up
did I
for
do
that.
that? Yeah, that's right. I've
Talk
been,
down about a
by,
place.
by the way, folks, I've actually been written up at my own company. It was pretty brutal.
Was it Shannon?
Yeah. Shannon and
She
Sarah
probably
wrote
relished
me
in
up.
that, wasn't she?
Did she try to?
wrote
Did
me
she
up.
try to make light of it by laughing?
No, actually, they were professional.
okay.
It was the same delivery as it would have been for anybody else, and they said, "What are you going to do to remedy the situation?" And I had like a little 5 to 10 minute presentation explaining what my
What were you
what my
gonna do
new
better?
plan was.
Cool. That's good.
That's right.
All right, Demons.
Okay.
So I spent 2 hours on Friday night because they had the books. They just didn't sell them until after.
Right.
They did everything they're supposed to do legally, and they we got to look at it in the store, and they have all kinds of. It's totally different. The Nerf hammer. The Nerf hammer was large.
Now, hold on a second. See, this is what confuses me. So, you're saying it's a good thing, so that they were basically brought into balance.
Yeah.
So
I
they're
think
not
they were.
less nor more powerful than the other books that have been released for 6th edition.
Yes, they were.
They're just totally different.
I don't. The book just came out. I haven't even played the game. I only got to look at it for a little
Right.
bit. I
Now,
didn't get
we
to read all
understand the
options.
disclaimer.
So there's things that I don't remember or know.
Right.
But the way that it looks like, and this is cool. It's cool that they changed this because I like the idea of it. But it's also definitely a let's sell more miniatures tactic on GW's part.
Hey, I'm all for that.
Right? Yeah, you are. It's a horde army. All of their troop choices.
Hey, I
are,
got you guys want to eat too, right?
That's true. All of their troop choices are 9 to 10 points a model, and they can be up to 20 guys. So it's 10 or 20 bloodletters is 200 points.
Yes, it does.
It's,
I did it on the clock.
I mean,
I did not do that.
half of a 2,000 point army, and you could have 100 bloodletters. You know, and that's not even counting other stuff.
All right, we're gonna have to pause this for
Okay.
a minute.
Get up and be like, I need you to take this project.
And they'll be like-
then you get to.
Be like, fair enough.
All right, we're back.
Yep, we're
So-
back.
Hopefully that wasn't just on camera.
By the way, that little blip was like 25 minutes.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, we were talking about demon troops. All their troop choices are really cheap. I think I was mentioning that bloodletters. You can get it's 100 points for 10 bloodletters, and they
Right.
cost 10 points to add up to 10 more. So you get a unit of 20 of them for 200 points.
They made Plague Bear's toughness 4 though.
Yes, everything dropped to
They
toughness
used to be
3.
toughness
5.
5.
Plague Bears are
5
toughness
to
4
4 is
now.
a huge drop.
It is a
Right,
huge drop.
but did the price drop notably?
Yes.
Yes, the price dropped.
It went from like 16 points to 10
9.
points. 9 points, right.
Plague Bears are 9 points. Plague Bears. One of the things they did was they have several universal things. Every demon, depending on which god they worship, has different abilities. Khorne, they get hatred against. They get hatred against Slaanesh and
Oh, that's kooky.
yeah.
That's so
they all
situational.
they have hatred against
Yeah.
each other.
All
Anyway,
right, whatever.
yeah, it is pretty situational. They have hatred against Slaanesh, and they have Furious Charge, for instance.
Plague bears.
Plague Bears, no, the Khorne demons. All
Okay,
demons
that
of
makes
Khorne.
more sense.
But all demons of Nurgle got hatred of Tzeentch and Shrouding
Right?
and Slow and
Wow.
Purposeful.
Okay.
So one of the things that's kind of fun is Plague Bears are cheap. So you just bring a fat unit of them, and they sit in a piece of terrain. If it's area terrain, they have a 5-up cover save for beating area terrain, and they're shrouded, so now they have a 3-up cover save.
Well, they get the better of the two,
Yeah,
which isn't shrouded like
shrouds.
12 to 24 inches is +1 to cover.
Yes.
24 and up is +2 to cover.
I do think it might just be
He's
flat.
getting out his
It
rule
might
book.
just be flat. I can't remember.
Well, stealth is +1.
Right, stealth is +1. The question is does it depend on distance? Because what you're thinking of, I
Is
think, is the
night
night
fighting.
fight. So night
Well,
fight.
but
if
night
you're a certain
fighting
distance
gives them
out,
those special rules.
It gives them if you're far enough away.
Oh, I understand. All right, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure.
All right, folks. Make a note. Don't listen to Shawn.
Yeah, a unit. Yeah. Always has a cover save of 5-up if they're in the open, or it's +2 to a maximum, or it's +2.
+2 to cover saves.
Yeah, from shrouded.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
So plague bears are shrouded.
Yeah, so in terrain they would have, or in or behind terrain they could have a really good cover save. If
And
they're
I
in
can't
ruins,
tell you what a
if they're
big
behind
deal that
ruins,
is.
they could have
That
a 2-up
is
cover
like
save.
zone thropes are impossible to kill because of the invulnerable save.
No,
All right, go ahead. So what else?
well it's a cover save.
Yeah, I understand.
Right. The whole army has demon, so they cause fear and they have a 5-up invulnerable save.
Right.
What else? One of the other big universal rules is they now have a thing called demonic instability, which is a rule that they used to have in the past. They kind
Yeah,
of tweaked a little bit. They tweaked a little bit and brought back. If they pass all morale tests and all opinion tests, if they lose in combat by however much they lose by, they roll their leadership versus this demonic instability, and they're basically a morale test. But however much they lose by, they lose wounds instead.
what it was before was that if you lost combat, you take a leadership roll and you take away that many wounds worth of guys, however many you
Right.
lost. But is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same
It's the same thing
Same
we're
thing.
familiar with.
Except for if you roll double ones, you get
So they're
everybody
not.
back.
They used to be fearless.
Yes.
Well, they're not fearless either.
They're not fearless.
Oh, okay. That's
So but
That's
now
stupid.
they're unstable,
Now they're unstable,
which is worse.
which is worse. They lose wounds now.
well. Before they were fearless and they took demonic instability, so now they're not even fearless and they're demonically
Well,
unstable.
they don't run away now. They can't run
They didn't
away.
run away when they had the demonic instability before either. They just
Right.
took wounds,
Right. So now
which was bad. But now this sounds like way worse.
It's the same thing. They don't.
No, because you can.
They don't run away.
They don't run
No,
away.
no, but I mean,
What
there's
else
certain
does fearless
situations.
give you?
Isn't there certain situations where like you have to take
this is
tests to do
great.
things and things like that?
No, because they pass them. I don't know if they pass all leadership tests or not, but leadership is different from morale. It's two different. It's the same stat. You're using the same stat for two different purposes. Anyway, so however much they lose by is how many wounds they lose. All of them are
Is
leadership
this
7.
a fun piece or is this for a client?
That's for a client.
Okay, go ahead.
I hope you didn't touch the green stuff.
No, I didn't.
Okay. It's a.
Sean's notorious for
is
that,
what
by
I'm
the way.
saying.
They go, hey, Sean,
No,
take
I'm
stuff,"
not.
and he goes, "Ah."
No, I'm not. Everybody has the same amount of chance of doing that.
It's a Saint Celestine. I just have to add in the robes.
Oh, okay, great. All right, go ahead.
So all the troops have leadership 7. The cool thing about it is if you roll double ones, then everybody that you lost, all the wounds you lost, all the guys you lost in that combat, come back.
Whoa.
Yeah. if you, on the other hand, if you roll double sixes, the whole unit is destroyed. It just disappears. It pops. So.
All right. Well, there you go.
That's a little random.
It is random.
Right.
There's
Well,
a lot of
I
dice
look for
rolling,
things.
a lot of randomness in this codex.
Right. And I'm not a fan of the randomness, but
It gets worse. They have another thing. Each of their shooting phases, they have to roll on this. They have to roll 2d6 on this chart, and it's like basically a warp storm. You know, and what happens? And some of the results, like the really bad result is if you roll double ones. Then everybody on the table that has the demonic instability rule has to make a test on that immediately.
oh,
Yeah, so you could just lose guys for free. But on the other hand, if you roll like a 10, it's plus one invulnerable save until next turn.
that's nice.
Yeah, and then there's 4 like shooting attacks, one based on each of the gods. So for instance, if you roll like I think it's a 9, you roll a 9, the Khorne hits all Slaanesh models, or it has a chance. I'm sorry, it has a chance to hit all Slaanesh models and all other guys.
Oh yeah. All right.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna say that like 3 times. They each have an attack that affects the group that they hate, the group of demons that they hate, and all other enemy models on the table. And it's a possibility. Like you'll roll, and on a sit, you roll for each unengaged unit of that other god and enemy, and on a 6, they get hit by this blast. And like the Tzeentch one is like a strength 4 AP 5 large blast. The Nurgle one is a couple of them are like direct shots. Like Nurgle and Slaanesh are a number of hits, and then Khorne is like a strength 8 AP 3 template. And you place it and then it scatters. So it's kind of a little extra randomness. There's also on an 11, the cool one, I think the one that most people like is on an 11 you hit enemy psychers, and there's a chance that you turn them into spawn or something like that.
Okay.
So that's kind of an interesting thing. But the way that I look at it. The other thing that I found out today is I thought that it was for each HQ slot you can have 2 heralds, but it's actually 4.
4 heralds
Yes.
per
So
HQ slot?
in a regular if you have one primary detachment, so if you're under 2,000 points, you could bring 8 heralds.
That's nice.
Yes, it is. And
I like the flexibility.
The heralds are cheap. They're very cheap. The most expensive one I think is 55 points base. Okay. And then they're the ones that have all the upgrades really.
Right.
They can take there's 3 levels of
So
gifts.
your basic demons can be augmented by the heralds in the unit?
Yeah, not only augmented by the heralds in the unit, but also augmented by the abilities that the heralds bring. They have these things called like loci, and the loci affect not only them but the unit that they're with.
Right. For example, in Warhammer Fantasy, if you have a Herald of Tzeentch in a unit of horrors, they get a +1 to their invulnerable save.
Right.
Their ward save.
Their ward, yeah. And none of them are that good.
Okay.
But one of them gives feel no pain.
Well, that's good.
And there's a bunch of them. I don't remember what all of them do.
Okay.
But those are purchasable abilities that you can.
Did they take away
purchase.
feel no pain from Plague Bearers? Or they still have that?
Yeah, they don't have. I don't think they have feel no pain.
Brutal.
Don't quote me on that.
But they're 9 points. 9 points.
They're not the same thing though at all. They're like completely different.
Oh yeah, it's incredibly different. The only things that pretty much the only things that stay the same really are like the greater demons and the demon princes. And the demon princes are like your chaos space marine codexes now, and the greater demons are just a little bit better version of that. Most of which don't really get you can take the gift, and if you get lucky, get an armor like a 3-up armor save on it. But a lot of them are just going to be flat 5-up invulnerable.
Did you get a chance to check out the psychic powers and stuff? Are those all different too?
Yes, all the psychic powers changed. The thing that really the units that were really good before, the Flamers, the Screamers, and Fate Weaver, I wouldn't bring any of them. Maybe you bring the Screamers still, but they balanced the Screamers. When they brought out the White Dwarf update that gave them that made everyone be like, ooh, and let's play those guys. Was they had what's called Lamprey's Bite, which makes their close combat attacks strength 5 AP 2.
Wow.
But the way it said it, they have a different strength. They have a strength 4, and then this said that their strength 5, their close combat attacks are strength 5 or something like that. And the way it read made it seem like they needed to add another sentence on, or change it to say one attack per combat, like a grenade, right? Which is the way they were before.
Right.
But this was never added in for the White Dwarf Codex. So for 6 months,
rules as written.
right? For 6 months, you had people being like, "Well, why not run fat units of these guys because they will beat anything in close combat."
Right.
They're initiative 4. I mean, the only thing that I can
How many
imagine,
attacks do they have?
3 base.
Are you kidding me?
3 base, 1 for the charge.
So 10 would have 30 attacks.
if they get charged, and 40 if they charge.
So 40, right? 20 hits.
Weapon skill 3.
Yeah.
Strength 5, AP 2. Add initiative, and then they're initiative 4.
They would just drop anything.
They'll kill Terminators, no problem. They'll kill any kind of Marine, because the Marines are going to strike at the same time. Maybe like Dark Eldar, some Dark Eldar witches or something would be okay. But I mean, the Dark Eldar would have to hit
Marines
and
would
really kill a lot of guys.
with that, because they still get their film of pain.
Yeah, but it's only a 5. I'll kill no pain.
But they're only wounding them with force too.
Okay, let's math it. Let's math it. They have 40 attacks. They're going to hit 20.
They're
They're
going
going
to
to
half
wound
of
10,
that.
and you're going to save.
You're going to save.
You're going to save 3. So 7 guys would die.
Yeah, that's
that.
right.
Pretty bad.
You're talking about Terminators, right?
No, we're talking about
Plague
Marines.
Oh,
The same
Plague Marines.
I was thinking Plague
Terminators.
Marines would be like the only thing that could stand up to that.
Terminators would be. I mean,
They get a 3-up info.
Best possible scenario: Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Terminators from Blood Angels with a guy in there
with
that has
Film of Pain,
with
yeah.
Film of Pain.
Yeah.
Same thing.
You're gonna get like 2
20
casualties.
hits, 10 or no, it's
They wound easier.
wound on 3s, so it would be like 15 wounds, and then 5 would make their invulnerable save, and 2 would make their. This is all averages. 2 would make their Film of Pain, so 3 would die.
Yeah.
But this was the kicker too. They were jet bikes, so they could just we go 12.
No way.
Yeah, we just go for
They fly over vehicles.
They fly over vehicles and do. They had a flyby attack too.
Yeah.
Plus these guys were armor banes, so they like a single one of them would kill a vehicle in 6th edition. Just brutalize a vehicle easily. And they're 25 points a model. 2 wounds.
Right.
Two wounds, and they had Eternal Warrior and Fearless. So
10 of them.
You could not kill them.
Right. So 10 of them would just be 250 points and be a nightmare to deal with.
Extreme nightmare.
Right.
So they
Nice.
They,
Too bad I missed that train.
Yeah. Now, well, hey, they're I don't know the points costs. They stayed the same stat line. The only thing they changed was they made Lamprey's Bite one attack per combat. So it's like a grenade.
All right, guys. Hey, I want to thank you for your expertise and your insight.
Cuts me short.
And
Just when
Until next time.
until next time.